the field override? Those in virtual world, do you want to see the field, how I created the override for alt text? Anyone? Yes? You guys want to see that? Okay. So, yep, okay, good. All right. So here's an issue that we noticed. At Rutgers, we're trying to make all of our sites accessible to the WCAG 2 standard or whatever, which means that all images need to have alt text at a minimum. So if I am here on the summary page and I right-click and I go to inspect, and Olivia, this is really hard to read, but anyway, if I look at image source, notice, oh, there is there because I already have the override. I'm sorry, wait, let me turn off my override. So I'm in the same thing as you guys. Hold on, I'm gonna just, hold on guys, let me just step back a second. I know, getting used to working with someone else's computer. Hold on, let me just, actually, I don't even have to. You all believe me, right? So basically, the alt, and everyone sees it on their own screen, the alt text, there is no alt text. So there's no alt text at all in the summary view. There's no alt text in this view either. And on page 16, I show you the example. So I go to the inspect, I show you there, when I'm highlighting the image, there's no alt text. That's a problem. You need to have some kind of alt text. Now, the solution that we came up with is not 100% of the end-all be-all, because in reality, the best way to do it is to change the field type overall to have something in the field type so you can manually put in, when you upload the image, you can also put in alt text for that specific image, okay? So my solution here is not that at all. In fact, we went on to GitHub, and I gave them my solution, and someone got very upset over it because they're like, this isn't really an end solution. I'm like, I know it's not, but it's better than what you have right now. But I know it's not the end all, because in reality, when you upload the image, at that point, you should be able to specify what you want the alt text to be. So this is just kind of a, you know, whatever. It's an improvement to what it currently is. So to create an override, if you go to extensions, so we're on page 17, and templates and styles, and we click on Cloud-Based 3, which I have up for you on page 17, and you click on Create Overrides. Now this option here is relatively new, that you can do this, which is really nice. Normally when you create overrides, you would just click on module, whatever you want. But what's nice is they added overrides for fields specifically. So under plugins, I can click on fields, and I have that on 17 for you. So I click on fields, and then I could select what field I want to create the override for, which is the media field. If you click on that, I'm not going to do it because I already created it, but if you click on it, it's actually going to create a file for you as a copy of what the media field display is. And it's going to put it in your template. So what that means, so if everyone can click on it now, so click on media, we're going to pretend I clicked on it. When I go back to that, no, I really do this backwards. I know I do this backwards. So when I go back here, I'm sorry, click on editor, that's where I meant to go. And I click on HTML. These are where all your overrides are. Now, there may be overrides in here already, but if I click on Plug Fields Media, which you all will have now, before that didn't exist, okay? Because it was looking for Media PHP somewhere else. But once Media PHP exists in this format, the system's going to look at this instead of the default one, okay? So if I click on Media PHP, let me go through the code. And I gave you, so what I have in here is my change that I already put in. If you look at page 18, the original code is image source string string. So %s string, %s string. What are the two strings? HTML entities, blah, 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 that's string number 1, comma, $ class is string number 2. So those are the 2 things that it was adding. Now, with the help of Elisa Fulton, who helped me a little bit with this, and Olivier as well, and it's just one line that we needed. Buffer, the change is buffer, sprintf, all that's the same, image source, string, alt equals string, my 3rd variable. Okay, so let's look at my 3rd variable. HTML entities is variable number 1. Class is variable number 2. Variable number 3 is $field label. That's it. I'm just using the label for the field. So if the field is called portfolio image, the alt text is going to say portfolio image. If it's the field label is movie image, it's going to say movie image. I know it's nothing fancy, but it works. So that's that extra line of code. And in here, I gave it to you, and I said added reference to alt using the field label, and that's what we did over here at Rutgers. Again, it's not the end-all, be-all, and I don't mean it to be that way at all. But until I have that, it's a one-line solution that works everywhere. We have this on over 120 sites, and it works. So, okay, so that's page 18. And then I show you the end result when you right-click, and you'll now see an alternate text. Again, I think the goal, though, would be, I think this should be the default, but then if you add additional, like if on the, when I'm uploading the image, if there was another piece of the field that I could put the image source and an alt text, I could type that in, but if I left that blank, this should be the default. The label should be the default if there's nothing. That's what we did in Ignite Gallery originally. By default, he didn't have an alt text. And I said to him, I said, can you just use the image name, just something? And he started doing that, and then we stopped failing our test. Because we run a test, and we fail it if there's no alt text. So, Eddie, do you have any questions on that?
No, I figured out what you mean.
Okay. So, you know, that's one thing we put in there. There's still a couple more things that I didn't have time to do here, but what we did with the URLs and stuff like that. Let's see, but Olivia, you need time to do yours. Should I show the URL one?
Yeah, not that long.
Okay, all right. So hold on a second. The URL one is not in this document, so I'm going to have to go onto one of our Rutgers sites. Eddie, can I access WebDevelop from here? I can. Right, okay, so hold on a sec. You guys can't get to this, but I can. What is the URL again? If I want to go to, I don't know. I'll go to computer science.
Webdevelop.sas.rutgers.edu.
.sas.rutgers.edu. CMS. Okay. Let me just show you what we did for URLs. Hold on, guys. I'm just, this whole system is. Oh, thank you. I have to do that without, okay. All right. So one issue we had, actually, let me think, maybe not computer science. I want to show you guys. There's an issue with the URLs if you want to do like a mail to. Eddie, where do we have a mail to? Oh, history. Because we put this on all the sites, right? Let's do history. Okay, so in history, and this is an example of using Latest News Enhanced as a category blog instead of the default. But so I'm using Latest News Enhanced here. But let's say I click on John Chambers, and I have his email address here. By default, the way the URL works is you have to put the words mail to in there, and it has to display mail to. That is really ugly. So we adjusted the code to strip out the mail to, number one. Number two, I wanted to give an option where if I had a URL link, to not show the full URL link. Let's just see if I have another person that might have a web link.
Econ, I recently did this.
Econ, you did it. Okay.
It was causing mobile usability issues.
Good. Okay. So here's another example with the email. Let me do econ. So I'm just showing you the end result, and then I'm going to show you the code that we did. Which page?
Go to people.
For people, so I did it in people, right? Or you put it, because you adjusted it.
I can't be display so that instead of showing
No,
the URL, it shows the link website.
Beautiful. Okay.
I do it for email instead of the website.
Okay. Well, email by default it has this. So here's another thing. So see how this website field is? By default, if you're not using the override, it puts the full www blah, 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 and the full website. So what we wanted to do is we wanted to give an option where to display a word, and then when I click on the word, it takes me to that website instead of displaying the entire URL. So we did a couple of different if-then statements here. First of all, we wanted to strip the mail to, which I mentioned before, and then also we wanted to use a different code for the actual display of the URL instead of displaying the URL. But one thing we ran into an issue with was one of our colleagues said, yeah, but what if I want a label? Because at first I was going to use the label. Well, what if he wanted to display a label? Well, then it'll say website, website, right, which is stupid. So what we decided to do is use the description field instead. So that way, if Eddie wanted to turn on the label that said website, the description could say visit personal website. So it pulls the link from the description. And that way, it kind of gave us two options. So we kind of manipulated a little bit to make it work. So let me show you the code. And what I can do is I could email a link to everyone for the code. So if I go to template, and I'll remember to email everyone a link to this because I did not put that in here. I just didn't know how much time we'd have today. Okay, so if I go down here, do you notice I have CustomFields media? That's doing the same code that we talked about before, and then CustomFields URL. So let's just look at this, and I'm pretty sure I documented it. Let me put it in here. Oh, Eddie, why is this doing this? I know, but it's doing that. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. If I go to www, will it play nicer with me?
No, is it on www?
No, I'll go to another site. Hold on, guys. I wanted to be able to show you the code. Let's see if I can get to it here. I've seen that happen before. Okay. Hold on. I know you're not happy with me. Let me just go here.
Yeah, it's defaulting to it.
Is that something we have in one of our settings somewhere? Because I know no one uses this. We usually use, we do it manually, all the edits. I'm one of the few people that actually like to look at it here. So if I go here, nice. So Eddie, it works live with that. Okay. Anyway, so here's a couple of things. Let me make this a little bit bigger so people can really see it. Okay. So first of all, string mail to equals mail to. Value substring equals whatever the HTML special characters, replace mail to with nothing. Value. That's it. We just got rid of the mail to. So now the mail to will not display, okay? And to show you an example, if I'm here in our current website, right, the site that we've been building, because obviously that's not using the HTML, so I can put that in Avengers. Oh, wait. Let me just create another field. I'm going to create a URL field in our new site, and it's going to call email, and I'm going to make it a URL. I just want to show you exactly what it looks like out of the box. Okay, so I'm just creating a URL field. I didn't put it in a group, so I really should. So it goes somewhere. Okay, we'll put it in movies. Okay. So now if I go to articles, I go to Avengers, I add an email address. Okay. Mail to Brytech. The shift is on the other side. I'm used to, sorry. Brytech123@gmail.com. Okay, just so you guys can see what it looks like out of the box. So if I refresh, so look how ugly that looks. Mail to Brytech123@gmail.com. I mean, that looks awful. That's terrible. So with this template change, it strips out the mail to. So that's number one. Number two, what we did was attributes define, oh, I spelled that wrong, Eddie. Look at that. What? Yeah. What attributes will be added to the link, such as opening in the new window? So basically, we're going to, if the link, and this was another test that we added to it, if it's internal, we're going to leave, if it's not internal, if it's not an internal link, we're going to open it up in a new page. So that I think I defined in here. I don't think the system automatically does that. Then define a variable, link display. This is the display that will be shown. If the description is blank, assign the web URL or strict email to the link display. So just leave it as is. If the description has a value, use that as the value as the link display. So basically, does that make sense? Am I saying this right? Okay. Making sure no one has questions. Okay, we're good. Okay. So if the description is empty, set it to the value subscreen. If it's not, then link display equals DESC. And then code that works from 1018, this is, what did we do here? Oh, and this is how I actually echo it. So here's my echo. I have my 1, 2, 3, 3 strings. So href is string, that's the URL. The attributes is if it should open up in a new window or not. Olivia, I think you helped me with this one. And then the last part right here, the last string is going to be the link display. So that's what's going to display as the text. So what I can do, and then let's do another example. So if I create another field, and I'm going to copy that email field because it's the same, I have to do it this way. I'm going to save as copy, and I'm going to say website, just so we could see how it works. I don't, though, because they're both URL fields.
Yeah, but you can change in the introduction.
There's
something you can, the skins at the bottom. Yeah, you can set which one.
Oh, the HTTP. I didn't even, I never even set that. What does that do?
It forces the field to be using HTTP or HTTPS or both.
Oh, okay. But what if you don't know if it's going for an HTTPS?
Just put the one you want to make sure you will have it available.
Okay, got it.
You can select several ones.
So I can select it. Yeah, I haven't used that really. Does that won't undo anything I did in the code, right? No. Okay. So I'm going to hit save and close. Go to articles. And now let's go to Avengers. Let's give it a website. All right. I still have to put this in though, don't I?
Yes, because it will tell you.
Okay, www. Oh. You guys must be having fun watching me do this. I'm like, am I doing that right?
Not
the other way. I'm really not used to this keyboard. Okay. Okay, www.avengers.com. I don't know if that's a valid site or not, but anyway, okay. And then if I refresh, so here's my default, right? This looks really yucky. This is not necessarily what you want it to be. So now if I copy this code, I'm going to select it, I'm going to copy it, and then I'm going to create the override. So I go to Extension, Template, Styles, and I will send everybody this so you have it. And I'm sorry, create overrides, plugins, fields, I want URL, select URL, created it, so now I go to HTML, now I got to find it. It's amazing if this works. Click on Fields URL, click on URL PHP. This is the original one, right, out of the box. So let's see. Oh, they do the underscore blank. They do that. That is in the default. Okay, so I'm going to highlight all of it. Oh. Highlight, delete, paste. I just put my code in. I hit.
Which site, I'm sorry, which site did you get that from?
I got it from one of our websites. Okay. From history, any of our sites have that code. Okay, all of the sites have the code. And Eddie, I'll email everybody this code. Okay, I hit save and close. Let's see what we did. There's so many flags. Okay, so look, RITEC123, notice the mail2 disappeared. Stripped it, good, thumbs up. This still looks the same, right? But that's because the description's blank. So if I go into the field and change the description, content, field, website, I add a description, click here for the movie. Oh my goodness. Okay, click here for the movie website. All right, I'm not even using capital letters. I'm going to stop because I can't. Okay, so if I refresh, look what we just did. So now I could take the label away if I want, but I just wanted to show you if you wanted to have the label. You know, some people like the label. And I don't know if this is perfect for accessibility reasons, but it is better than having a long URL, especially when your URL gets really long. That's really not good. For mobile usability, you know, if the URL doesn't fit.
Yeah, accessibility best practice and have link text instead of a full URL.
Okay. So Eddie just confirmed that as well, because again, we've been trying to do this. Olivia, yeah?
No, excuse me. It's just because the reader for the blind person, for example, is going to read the text instead of reading the URL.
That's right. Yeah. So there you go. Voila. So we just did 2 overrides, custom fields. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I want to take a quick pause. I'm going to save this recording. And, oh, I see I have a message. I'm sorry, guys. Wait, hold on. Kate asks, if you set a scheme for email fields, then do you have to type mail to? I think you do. Yes. Kate, I think you still do.
If you put the scheme, is going to assure that the field is going to have the mail to only.
Okay, so Olivier confirmed that by putting in the scheme of mail to, it forces you to only have the mail to only. That's what's happening there. But it's not going to put the mail to only in for you. Which is difficult for the users, I think, to remember to put in the mail to, because that's really...
Yeah, like you did earlier with HTTP, the border is going to be red.
Right, it forces you, yeah. So anyway, it doesn't, you still have to put that in, Kate. Thanks. So what I want to do is I'm just going to stop the recording here, but don't get off because Olivier is going to show